I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
We are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Demon Slayer, Season 3, Episode 6. Last episode, we were blessed with the animation that is Demon Slayer. We got a bit of Mitsuri, which is great. You know, loved seeing what she was capable of, at least to start. I have a feeling that we haven't seen, you know, the most that she can do yet. But we are borderline seeing potentially the most that Tanjiro can do at the moment, which was amazing. It was a combo attack, exploding blood with the blade of, what, it's red now?
Right.
Yeah?
Just at least by the exploding blood.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what you just said there, is this the most that Tanjiro can do at the moment, is almost a little worrisome because we're so early into this arc, into this season.
Yeah.
And I find it hard to believe that we could so easily and quickly kind of defeat the demons and win, you know? And we have this kind of troublesome question mark at the end of last episode.
With Genya.
With Genya.
I feel like at the moment, Tanjiro, like, as Tanjiro does, he's fully capable up to a point, and then he just, like, goes beyond his limits that he's never been pushed to yet. So we're probably going to get that at some point during the arc. But you're right, we have a problem to deal with first, and that is Genya seemingly being a demon or demon-like, and we don't know why. I assume that this isn't like, oh, he just got turned into a demon, because we've seen his regenerative properties previously.
There's been some little hints or clues that this, now that we've seen it, it was possible that there were breadcrumbs to mean that it's always been this way. And it's not like a suddenly he's been turned into a demon, in a similar way to when Akaza tried to recruit Rengoku.
Yeah. So now we just need to deal with the aftermath, see how much control he has, because it kind of left us off with the vibe that he doesn't have much.
Is it going to take a lullaby? Do we need Nezuko to do something about this?
Who knows?
Tanjiro's kind heart.
Maybe Mitsuri can, you know...
She's love Hashira.
Yeah.
That's all you need sometimes. It's just a little bit of love.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Biggest plot twist ever
in
Demon Slayer.
Well, I was kind of I know this is like selfish, but sometimes you know how you get like the, oh, I already saw that animation, but let's see it again because it was so cool and high budget that we're going to show up before I was hoping, you know. It was so good. Aren't you going to become a Hashira? Genya?
Tanjiro. Restraint.
Not dead. Okay.
What's the secret?
Aw. Smell, right?
The tongues were the suspicious part. There's
One's
like a
been
hidden
hiding.
one?
That's pretty smart.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Going to become a Hashira.
Oh!
They have all regenerated already.
I love Genya. Whew.
Maybe Tanjiro is the only one that can find it.
Oh, shit.
That's a strong smell, yeah.
Ah.
Cowering.
For some reason, I thought Hantengu, like, broke into the four.
Yeah. But really, it's like a defense.
Yeah.
A protection. Nezuko!
Nice!
Mitsuri's gonna come in soon, right?
We hope. Come on, Nezuko. Nice!
That sound!
Not nice.
Oh!
Oh, shit!
I got excited by the sound, but it was a bad sound.
Back to Tokito.
There's this calmness to Muichiro that's kind of reminds me of Gyu.
Yeah.
Deep calm.
Oh! Don't fuck with Nezuko.
Adapt himself in combat.
Oh! It's like a Saiyan. He's not alone. I love how much control he still has, even though he's in like a different form, you know? Being depleted.
How is he different from Nezuko? I have so many questions.
Low to the ground. He's tiny. Puny.
Is that why the smell was so hard to locate even without the hot spring?
Oh, shit. It's indestructible? His brother.
That is his brother!
Flashback? Jeez. I get so nervous when I see kids in the show.
I know. How he got his scar! It's Mom!
His mom turned into a demon? The sun's coming up.
He's gonna be upset at his big brother for this.
混乱していたを死ぬというのが分かってしまって、狼は狼だと思ったのになった母ちゃんだった。たちを守るために戦って初めて外に落ち、家族を襲ったのが母ちゃんだと気づいたとどんな気持ちだったろうか。歯を手にかけて召されていた時に弟から罵倒されて持ちだったろうか。一緒に守ろうとしたばっかりだったのに。俺たち二人で守ろう。死んじまった。あんなのは別にいない方がせいぜい。父親がいねえとなると心細いだろうから、これからは俺とお前で弟たちを守るんだ。これからはこれからもだよな。謝れないまま俺は死ぬ。もらった時の都合のいいそのを見て呼吸も使えないし、柱にはなれない。柱に会えないのに。てめえみたいなグズとじゃねえよ。鬼殺隊なんかやめちまえ。俺は兄ちゃんの弟なのに。ゲイヤー。
ほう。
絶対諦めるな。次は切れる。首を切ることだけ考えろ。になるんじゃないのか。死なすがわけや。しまった。後ろ。一緒。もろに。
Holy shit. He can regenerate. It's not his head.
It's not his head, but still.
Jesus. Jesus Christ, man.
Just this once, I'm gonna let you have it.
Bro's scurrying away. Oh, shit! It's like frustration.
Yeah.
Frustration.
He doesn't need to eat.
How can you argue with him?
You can't.
Okay, that was Demon Slayer, Season 3, Episode 6. Any thoughts on how Genya is what he is?
Like how it came to be?
My best guess is that because the mom was turned into a demon and obviously had some of Muzan's blood, and he had an open wound and was holding his mom, that somehow blood was transferred, but not fully, maybe because of the family relation or the amount, and that was what led him to be able to have the abilities he does.
Well, Nezuko was also a survivor.
No.
Of a Muzan demon attack, right?
But Nezuko's a demon, and I don't think Genya is. I think Genya's like half a demon, where Nezuko's a full demon.
Which I don't even know how that's even possible, but like it does seem to be that way with the fact that Genya goes back to like normal.
Yeah.
Unless very, very wounded.
That's what makes me feel like it had to be like a smaller amount of blood or something to do with the familial connection, or like we did see him holding the mom.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting, but like it'd be hard to believe that his big brother wouldn't also possibly have a wound from fighting off the mom as well.
But the big brother wasn't holding the mom. That's the only like...
Tackled her out of the window.
Yeah, I know, but like in that final like sequence, you know?
Nothing is enough evidence for me to have any sort of theory of how or why Genya is the way that he is, or how...
Why his mom was became a demon, or turned into a demon.
And also, like, how it works, how Genya's situation works and differs from Nezuko. I think it's because it's such a kind of new concept for us into season 3 of, like, Genya's existence and why he's not either just Nezuko, a typical demon that you need to kill, or a human, and that there's this almost new category that's being made that he fills that we don't really understand exactly what that is or how it happens.
He used the term depleted, like in reference to his own like power, which is different than like a normal swordsman or demon slayer. I think depleted had to have had something to do with the ability.
It almost sounds like a power up, like you use the demonness as a power up, and then it's depleting, and you're going to go back to, what, normal human?
He doesn't have breathing techniques.
If his head gets chopped off, he cannot regenerate his head. Which we do know for these upper ranks that if there's some wonky rules, and so some of them and some parts of them can regenerate the head. But
it sounds like for his case, it has nothing to do with the Nichiren sword. It's just in general, which makes me feel like
it's a very human
half and half.
Yeah,
right?
he can regenerate every part of his body except this very vital to the demon's part, but it's also very human at the same time because it doesn't need to be a Nichiren sword.
Yeah, very peculiar.
Yeah, and it's a little bit odd to. I mean, if Genya was like a totally new character that we hadn't been seeing from the beginning, this would kind of seem like, wait, why are we now getting introduced to some other rule for the demon-human situation, another category, if you will, and because Genya has been with us from Final Selection, it doesn't feel like well, pump the brakes, what are you doing right now? Why are you introducing this thing so late into this story and getting to know the characters?
I'm also like, I like Genya a lot. I really I felt like I got to know his character a little bit more this episode, and I love him, so it makes me feel a little less like he didn't have to have a broken arm for that long after Tanjiro broke it, probably.
Oh, yeah. He probably healed immediately. Like
Maybe.
Well, actually, we don't know when this happened to him. If it was back when the mother, then he was like that during Final Selection. That's my
best guess.
But that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. If his brother was a Hashira when he was in Final Selection, of course, he might have been just following in his brother's footsteps. Yeah. And then during his journey of, before he got to the Butterfly Mansion. Obviously, we can kind of gather from that little outro credit scene that by the time he was at the Butterfly Mansion when Tanjiro was, he wasn't eating any food, which I would say would be a marker that by then, at least, he had this new demon element.
Yeah.
So not sure where in the timeline it occurs.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested. I'm interested to know the logistics, like the actual, what is he? How did this happen? Because we got a flashback and maybe some of it was evidence to give us the answer, but that's not what the point of the flashback was.
You know what the flashback really did for me? It made me try to rethink and reinterpret everything that we saw in regards to the Wind Hashira's interaction with Nezuko. And it's like, okay, from your own life and personal experience, at least to you, as hard as it must be to accept that your family member is not themselves anymore, you have to do what you need to do to protect other people.
Yep.
And even though Nezuko's a different case, as we see, I can imagine that it would be almost impossible to accept that there would be a different scenario or a different case when you had to go as far as to kill your mother rather than try to save her.
But doesn't that add in the question on if Big Brother even knows about Little Brother's demon thing?
Yeah, it does.
Because would the Wind Hashira have acted the way that he did there? Because what you could kind of connect to is, maybe there's this jealousy aspect of you get to keep your family member alive and not kill them as they are a demon. You don't have to go through that. But also then the self-hatred or despair of being like, but what if my mother could have survived and could have ended up being like this kid's little sister?
Yeah.
And knowing that you were the one that ended their life and this kid didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
So there's all those elements, but then they get called into question in the timeline of when Genya's happening would have happened to him of, I feel like the Big Brother possibly would have acted different if he knew that he also had a similar situation in his own little brother. But it
could be, I have a little brother who I also don't accept or want to be a Hashira, or a demon slayer. Maybe if it's for protection or not, right? But maybe it's, okay, I know somebody and I still don't accept them fully, and they are much more in control of their form and their like demon abilities than your sister would be. She's lost. She's like a...
But it's like not accepting the whole like denouncing of the family member, not accepting him to Genya to be a Hashira. I don't believe that would be the actual full story or reason for his actions, the big brother's actions, the Wind Hashira. It seems like it could possibly just be more like, I'm trying to protect you.
Yeah.
As I was the one that killed mom when she became a demon and protected the family, and you denounced me for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to create even more distance between us and just be the one that continues to get their hands dirty and get things done.
I wonder, like, I feel like when we inevitably get to learn a little bit more about the Wind Hashira himself, we might see a different turn to, like, we might see the full turn of events that actually occurred on that night. I think it's like, remember when Tanjiro was finding out about demons and how they worked within this world? It seemed like the Wind Hashira already knew, like, some base knowledge. Like, okay, we, like, outside in the sunlight, that maybe could help here and defeat her. Or like, I felt like...
Possibly, or it was just more trying to get the mother away from the house with the kids as far as possible. And that's just where they ended up, and the fact that the sunlight was coming up. I find it interesting to think about the fact that the mother came home.
Yeah.
To the door. That's kind of like scary and creepy.
It's terrifying.
Like, it takes you to that level of, oh, in demon form, like, is it really that the first person you would want to kill if you can't control yourself are the people that you recognize the smell of?
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like, I don't think that the mom was like always a demon based on the language, you know? It's just like...
Well, this was the first time mom was out so late. Obviously, this happened with mom being out so late. Something came across some demon. It does open up some questions about what environment their mom was in terms of working. Probably in more danger, because it sounded like mom had to work literal day and night in order to take care financially of her kids.
Yeah, after her husband, piece of shit, abusive.
I like that Genya was like, yeah, he got stabbed, he deserved it.
Yeah.
And I was like...
But I really liked the Wind Hashira. Like, I liked how he was just, like, staring out into space and was like, Genya, we need to protect our family. We need to, you know... Mm-hmm. And I understand why Genya said what he said to him, especially in the moment. You're a kid trying to process all this shit, right? But,
and his first thought when this whole thing happens is that's a wolf.
Yeah.
It's so dark, he doesn't even realize really that it's his mom, because he's not letting himself realize it until the moment that he's holding her and she's disappearing in the sunlight.
Genya's brother's, like, potential to be able to be a kid and fight off a demon with a butcher's knife. And it being your own mom to protect your own family and you winning. What the fuck? Like, he must be one of the strongest Hashira.
He's a Hashira.
Yeah.
No wonder he was able to do that. It seems like he definitely strong-willed, definitely determined. Gosh.
Yep.
That was obviously the main point narratively and the highlight of this episode.
Yeah. Other than Little Demon Man.
Other than
Hantengu
gets really small. That was definitely fun and creative, as I always find the demons get increasingly more like, oh my god, I wouldn't have thought of that. And just fun creativity in terms of like the creation of the demons, that it takes kind of a different thinking to be able to take them down and kill them.
You know what it makes me worried of though? Like, I could totally see Tanjiro killing him, but at the same time, I'm like, we know a bit about Hantengu's personality. What if he levels up and goes the opposite direction? What if he snaps and is like, nah, I'm done with this shit. I'm not gonna cry anymore. Absorbs his other emotions, becomes bigger.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's like, oh, maybe watching the intro is like bad sometimes in terms of like possibly knowing if a demon is actually dead or not.
Mm-hmm.
We get Mitsuri fighting Hantengu. in the opening.
I don't know, for this show in particular, I don't think that would necessarily be enough to confirm whether he would die or not. I think that the intro alone wouldn't. What makes me feel it is 6 episodes in. And
it's too soon.
It's like 2 upper ranks. And he is more powerful than Gyoko, I assume, because he's a higher rank, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to imagine that Han Tengu will be defeated before Gyoko. Or Gyoko.
I feel like what we're getting here is that it's gonna be a Hashira for both, and then maybe the help of, you know, the other Demon Slayers, Genya and Tanjiro, Nezuko, in order to defeat both of these, just as it was in, you know, season 2. And Genya even brings up, like, reminds Tanjiro, it wasn't just you that took down that upper rank. And then obviously we're seeing Genya and Tanjiro try themselves to do it by themselves. I have no fear when we get a little glimpse at Tokito and Gyoko. Like, I am I supposed to feel worried and scared? I don't know. For some reason, I have like an unfounded amount of trust in Tokito to survive this and like get out of there and figure it out.
My only fear of that situation is the small chance that the only reason Tokito is going to break out of it is Kotetsu, and then Kotetsu gets hurt. Mm-hmm. I don't have any fear that Tokito is going to get hurt as of right now. Mm-hmm. My favorite part of this episode, though, is just Genya's character, man. I feel like he has this like initial hardened state about him that's of course reminiscent of Inosuke, but what really sells it for me is like every time he sees Tanjiro's warmth, it makes me like connect to the vision we got of what Genya was like as a little kid. And it's like that barrier kind of just breaks and snaps and crumbles so easily when he's met with that,
which
like,
is still kind of reminiscent of Inosuke, because you know when those little bubbles happen when Inosuke's like, oh my god.
But this is different. Like I like the nuanced take to it in this sense. I really like him. He's one of my favorite characters, I think.
I'm really intrigued. I mean, still his weapons of choice and the combination is still super intriguing.
Yeah.
My last thing that I wanted to touch on was something that happens like literally in the first like minute or 2 of the episode. I was like, whoa, when we hear the demons, Han Tengu's emotions discuss kind of almost like they're impressed with Tanjiro.
Yo, he's kind of nice,
like,
though.
They were like, he can adapt himself in combat. He excels, like, on the brink of death in combat. Like, they were, like, impressed by him and, like, worried by him a little bit. Like, they were pointing out, like, this kid's talented, you know? Which is, like, I was like, wow, thank you.
It does worry me in regards to, like, the future. Because if these two die, or at least that knowledge is consumed and Muzan can get a hold of it, I feel like they are going to do their best to wipe Tanjiro out if they can see his potential growing even further. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, we cannot let him get stronger.
We can't let him get stronger. I was surprised in this episode that the sword stayed red. I know that it became red last episode with exploding blood from Nezuko, but I thought that was just a visual effect of exploding blood and like the flames taking over the sword. I did not realize that it had almost embedded itself in the sword.
Well, there were a couple moments, and it could just be the animation or the lighting,
like in this episode,
in this moment, in this episode, that it looked like only part of it was red, and the rest was returning to black. So I don't know if that was just like a visual thing or not, but I understand what you mean with it was still red after the blood
which I did not expect when we got that kind of overlap of Tanjiro and, you know, this other swordsman. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's a red sword just like him, but not like literally the same situation.
Yeah. I am fearing that after this, like, I'm excited for it, but we're not going to go to Akaza next. I think that because, like, it's kind of been a perfect path for Tanjiro, right? Like, in who he defeats and how it continuously gets, like, higher and higher ranked. Gyoko and Hantengu are 5 and 4, and then 3 would be Akaza. But that would just be another stepping stone. I'd think Muzan would be like, no, we're not fucking around anymore. Kukushiba's gonna go, or Doma. We're not gonna even risk him defeating another upper rank and then being pushed to a higher level.
Or for a continuation of story, to make it go longer, maybe you have the Muzan pick some new lower ranks.
Oh, lower ranks. Interesting.
Or have some new replacement upper ranks or something.
Yeah.
Because if Muzan's worried about... So you're right. There's like 2 paths that Muzan can take. It's literally like, send my best man, because I'm not going to send myself because I'm a little bit scared of this boy, and have them just take care of it. Just
nip it in the bud.
But then if Muzan's a little scared of Tanjiro, then maybe he'd be like, maybe I should get some disposable pawns to hopefully take care of Tanjiro. Because it's like Muzan has an infinite amount of people that he can turn into demons to just kind of throw at Tanjiro.
Yeah.
And he might try to like waste a bunch of disposable pawns of demons and hope that there will be the casualty that Tanjiro will not survive, and maybe we can knock out a few more Hashira.
Perhaps. But I think that I definitely inevitably want to see Tanjiro avenge Rengoku by killing Akaza, even though that Akaza's my favorite like, upper rank. I don't know. I have like so many mixed feelings in regards to Akaza.
Yeah, a mixed feeling situation. Like obviously, and I think that's what made Mugen Train like so successful emotionally, was that this show makes you feel things about the demons, like other than being like, ugh, like a hatred feeling or a disgust feeling, because we're following Tanjiro. And Tanjiro unlocks the memories of the past of these demons, and it makes you feel things for these murderers. And so without getting Tanjiro's kind of influence to unlock Akaza to us, Akaza was almost just introduced to us with this like uneasiness in me, the viewer, of being like, I don't feel like I hate you, even though you just killed Rengoku. Like, there was language, there was an attitude about Akaza. Now we're getting Akaza's interactions with the other upper ranks that kind of still makes him this, he stands apart from like a lot of the other, right? For some reason, I can't quite put my finger on like what it is about Akaza that already has him in this category with these other demons that we've defeated and gotten flashbacks of.
Yeah, he's like up to bat or something. Like he's just like in like a different circle.
He's in a different category, and I can't put my finger on how that was created. Like, was it the dialogue around him? I
imagine that out of every single upper rank we have left, Akaza's backstory is going to be the most heart-wrenching. Just because of where he is right now. Like, compared to the other evil, like, sadistic...
Yeah, it seems like some of the other upper ranks, maybe that's how and why he stands apart, because it seems like some of the other upper ranks have this attitude about them where I could totally believe that they wanted this.
Yeah.
And they, like, thrive in this, and maybe even in their human life, they were bad people. Like, I could believe that for a lot of these upper ranks that we're now getting introduced to. So, yeah, Akaza just for some reason is separate, and I can't quite put my finger on why.
I feel like we always just get back to Akaza.
Yeah.
You know? You good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.